look years younger in just 1 hour. In fact, it's more like 15 minutes. Are you intrigued? This is what you need to know about this new procedure, because there's a new beauty treatment that gives you instant glow, a beautiful plump, and actually a lot of deep hydration, more than what you can get with topical skincare, like you've never had from a skin cream, filler, or biostimulator before. I'll show you the exact products within this class today. There's more, because right about now, I know what you're thinking. It must make you look unnatural, right? Well, this never looks unnatural. In fact, nobody will ever know you had anything done. Lips, cheeks, under eyes, forehead, anywhere you want, to smooth, to glow, or even to give just a juicy, just had a facial kind of hydration. And no, it's not makeup, even though it sounds like it. It's not filler. It's something actually in between. Revolutionary, in fact. They, and they is the key here, call it skincare. But we know better. I'm going to explain more in this in a second because it's important, but it is much safer than traditional fillers. Are you scared of needles? Well, you won't be scared of this because there's a completely new delivery method. Now you're asking, it must be expensive. No, it's usually about under $100 or $200 a session. That's cheap in the world of beauty, in fact. And here's the secret. Europeans have been quietly using versions of these for decades. In fact, 25 years ago, when I was learning mesotherapy in Paris, we were already tapping into this concept. But now we've taken it to the next level. Flash fillers, as they're called, are like highlighters under your skin. You've likely heard of this term in Allure, New Beauty, and Vogue articles. I've seen them there just recently though. Radiance in all the right places and then gone before anyone suspects a thing was ever done. That's why they call them flash fillers. And yes, I've had them in my face before too, and I really like them. They're made of low molecular weight hyaluronic acid. And here's the kicker. It's non-cross-linked, meaning they're soft, jelly-like, and designed for hydration, not volume, not puffiness. That's the key. You see, fillers that you know, Restylane, Juvederm, Belotero, those are some of the most popular ones. They're made by what we call bacterial cross-linking. These are not cross-linked. So they do leave the face, unlike fillers, which, as you know, on MRI studies, we find them in there 7-10 years later, even though the FDA approval is for, 6 months, a year, 2 years in the case of Voluma. We know that's actually not the case. They last a long, long time. Not these. With these, you will get some volume for about a week. You're not reshaping the face, you're recharging it. Now, right now, you're thinking the baby face trend, something I did a video on a couple months ago. And yes, exactly. These are used in many countries. Their people are lined up for the baby face transformations. And this is one of the products they do use. Here's how we, meaning you, can capitalize on these. They're administered with a nano needle, tiny and pretty much painless. They kick in within hours. They peak around day 2 to 3. And then they fade naturally for about 5 to 7 days. Perfect for weddings, parties, photo shoots, or when your ex is in town. Now, here is the belief system that's wrong right now. Kind of a misconception, I would say, and that benefits you that nobody knows yet. People will tell you this. They'll say, then they fade. So you get them done, then they fade. In that week that I talked about, they go away because they're non-cross-linked. But having done these for dozens of years, I can personally tell you the reality is there are longer-term benefits. You do, in fact, get the best of both worlds because that non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid that's used in these flash fillers acts as an antioxidant because that's what hyaluronic acid is. And it elicits a little immune reaction like a biostimulator does, but short in duration. There's no need to ever dissolve these because your body does break them down, unlike traditional fillers. It can also make the face fat pads a little perkier. That's what you see. Long-term, meaning 6, 8, 10 months. We age every day, of course, and our fat pads, our face fluctuates a little bit. And so long-term with anything needs maintenance, of course, but it's not just 1 week like they might tell you. When the fat pads are healthy, we get more glow and we look more youthful. So yes, when used right, there are long-term benefits to skin hydration and quality. Now, the appointment time, how long do these take to get done? It gets even better. About 10 to 15 minutes to do. You're in and out the door. It's why a lot of these are popular in Asia. You may be a little bit red. Sometimes you get a tiny little bruise, but really there's no major downtime. You're going to recognize these non-cross-linked hyaluronic acids placed in products like Sonicos, Prime HA, Profilo, Jalupro, and some of these even have amino acids in them. Now your injector will call this skincare. More on that in a second and why. Why they're being treated like underground beauty speakeasies. Now let's say you like what you saw on day 3 after getting it done. That little bit of plumpness, the glow, that's when it sort of peaks initially. You can do one of 3 things. A, you just get a few more treatment sessions done. How long apart? 4 weeks or so. Number 2, you can move to a more robust product, something with a little bit of cross-linking, or even mix these together a little so you're not fully getting filler, but you're getting the best of both worlds by doing a little bit of both. So the non-cross-linked, like we talked about, and the cross-linked. Number 3, you could go for all-natural PRF mesotherapy known as plasma boosters, more at plasmaboosters.com. So there's several ways to maintain these and stack them and layer them as desired. Of course, the older you are or the less you've done to maintain or the more sun you've had, the more wrinkles, you're going to need more sessions like anything else. The more you've maintained your skin, had prior treatments, the less sessions of these you're going to need. Now, what is need? That depends on the results you're expecting, of course. And most of us, we want more and more. It's human nature. So is there a stopping point? It depends on your mindset and what your end goals are. But it's part of a skin routine. Once you see the clock turn back, it's often motivating to continue for most of my clients. Nothing is one and done like people used to think. We age daily, but instead of getting things that stack up in your face over time like fillers, it leads to the puffy face. You may rather products that do a job, metabolize, and then they leave the body. No downtime, no commitment, no filler face. So this nano needle process, what exactly is it? Well, they're tiny 33 or 34 gauge, but short needles. I mean short, baby short. A regular filler needle is a 1/2 inch. Cannulas are 1.5 inches or more. These are nano needles. So they're a millimeter or 2, maybe 3 max in length, but very tiny in circumference. Now you will see the odd person use a cannula to administer them, depends on what you want to do, but really true mesotherapy, meso means middle, layer of skin, they want to be in the middle layer of your skin, not necessarily in the fat pads. So what you do is usually put them in the fat pad and you keep injecting as you're withdrawing. So here's your skin, here's your fat pad, here's your bone. You put them in kind of to the fat pad if you really want to get down to that level. Inject all the way out. And thereby this product, because I said it's not cross-linked, it's very soft and it flows well, it will flow through all those layers of skin. Technique is key. So you could get the same product with one provider and get no results, get the same product with another provider and get fabulous results. Technique is key. See an expert, of course. But typically cannulas aren't used. There can be that tad of bruising, but mainly only if someone's on blood thinners, but we're talking millimeters in depth, so it's rare. Contrast that with the filler needles that are 1/2 inch in depth. That's exactly where your vessels are. So bruising's more common. You may also hear the word mesoguns used. I've owned a couple of these over the years. Using the hand technique with what we call a nappage technique, it's way better, it's easier, and more controllable. So not many people use the guns, although in Asia I have videos where we use them. So this is what I call test driving beauty. Now here's the not so small print. Here's what you need to know. You're saying, where do I get them? Well, they're not actually FDA approved for injection in the US, but The reality, which you always get on this channel, of course, and now's a good time, hit the like and subscribe button. It's more important than ever, and only 38% of you watching and are getting value from my videos are actually subscribed. It's free to you, so click the like button, subscribe. I truly appreciate that. And back to the reality, well, these products are in at least 10 to 30% of practices in the United States today, labeled as topical skin boosters. One classic one we use in Europe, you'll see, is called Prime HA. You'll also find the same type of non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid combined with things like salmon sperm facials, PDGF serums, Ariescence, and other so-called flash glow treatments that are seemingly on every corner med spa's menu today. So they're out there. Now, what about the home gamers? Yeah, they're very popular for those who do peels and microneedling at home, those of you a little more brave. And I know some of you even do your own threads, PDO, even PCL threads. Those are the ones that last a little longer. I know some of you do those at home, but a word of caution here, if you're trying to do this at home, make sure you get real, robust product. But yes, it is not quite like doing your filler at home. Of course, they're safer. They don't last as long if you mess up. So they're a little more, way more common to do these at home than fillers. But of course, I recommend with something like this, go into a clinic, have them done. They're not that expensive, and they're more ubiquitous now than ever. So yes, they're technically a gray zone, but they're out there. And if you're in the hands of someone skilled, the glow is real, without filler, without pain, without looking unnatural, without the risks. You'll now want to watch this video all about plasma boosters and one down here on face exercises at home inexpensively that you can do. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.